What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in quarantine. Get out of here. Well,
You've used that joke already, Jess.
If you're here, today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, what's Patreon and who are our donors?
Yeah, well, if you don't know what Patreon is this your first episode? But it's where you can go if you'd like to donate to us. We have a Glee podcast that's currently running. We have commentaries on things like Annie and all Annie-related properties.
We had a full Annie month.
And our current patrons, and this might take a little bit, but here we go. Terry Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Learer, Lily Ackles, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, The Fantastic Just Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Taskier, Fire of September, Mina Maniri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Alice in Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Nathaniel Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Luna Rocks 222, Irigale Drouet, Whiter, Carrie Ahern, Christine Malmadel, Mezzanine Theater Diary, Mary Lou Choquette, Ann Nunnally, Cole Birchfield, Sam Caulfield, John Vanals, Holy Sticality, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Grace, Andrew Van Barson, Emily Stack, Kyle Summers, Mr. B, Janae C, Kyle, Christina Francis, Jessica A, Skylar, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth, and Allison Stuller.
They give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as Patreon-only commentaries, our episodes a day early or even earlier, and so much more, come join us over at Patreon. All right, we shilled enough. Let's get on to the show. Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew to like musical theater.
He tried to
jump in and introduce myself, and then you just kept talking. I was going to say, I'm Adam Wachter.
Well, I was going to give you a wonderful introduction.
Oh.
I was going to give you this beautiful introduction. We have us, once again, he's basically becoming a third host of this show.
It's him or Brent. When
him and Brent.
When Jess dies or goes to prison, it's going to be one of them.
Ooh.
So, Adam, you're going to be bequeathed the podcast.
We'll let the Patreon donors decide.
Yes, we have, once again, the incredible composer and just everything in the world. You'll probably know him from Disney Plus on Encore, Adam Wachter.
Yay, clapping for myself.
Yeah, welcome back, Adam.
Thank you.
So what's been new in your life since November? Anything big?
Well, Encore came out, COVID-19 happened, Black Lives Matter really took off, and that's about it. And Tarrytown came out, the CD.
Yeah, and it's...
That one!
That one!
Morning in Tarrytown, folks are just waking, a cricket still sounds. There goes the school bus, there goes a paper boy making his rounds. Small town American lives, small town America thrives. I've noticed in Tarrytown, Tarrying here still survives.
I've been a fan of Tarrytown since before I've even met you, which is now kind of a surreal thing that you and I are kind of buddies, and I've just always loved this album separate from you.
You really
as
have
a
your
human.
finger on the pulse just for even knowing about it, quite frankly.
It's a great album.
Yeah, but it's not like, an ubiquitous sort of musical for people to know of.
Well, it's about to be.
It's about to
be.
This is what skyrockets it. Our show is what brings it up into the upper echelon.
That would be great. That would be wonderful.
But something else is happening pretty soon, right?
What?
Is there something else happening?
Didn't you say there was a live stream of it coming out in like a couple of weeks?
Oh,
this was a
secret. No, it's not a secret. Well, I don't know when is this coming out, this episode?
A week from Friday.
Oh, that's perfect. I think it might be out then. It's not a live stream. It's the world premiere production that happened in San Diego 2 years ago. they filmed it for archival purposes. The theater company, Backyard Renaissance Theater Company in San Diego, and they are streaming it online for I think like 3 days only, and you have to buy tickets to see it. But please do so if it interests you. It was a really great little production, and they're a wonderful nonprofit theater company, and this is going to support them because obviously they can't produce any live theater at the moment. Nobody can.
Yep.
So if this musical piques your interest and you'd like to see an actual production of it, you can do that in a couple weeks. Go to their website maybe, or their Facebook or something.
There will be a link in the podcast description.
There will be a link in the podcast description. Yay!
And over the next hour or so, we're going to convince you that you need to buy tickets. All right?
Or convince you not to. One or the other.
One or the other. All right.
One or the other.
Without further ado, this week we are talking about Adam Wachter's Tarrytown. And la da da da. Then Krista Rodriguez.
You play some music. Ooh.
All right. Here is 3 paragraphs that Adam likely wrote himself that I'm about to read.
The biggest fan of Tarrytown wrote this.
The only fan, the composer, writer.
Tarrytown, a contemporary story loosely based on Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, written and composed by some guy named Adam Wachter, is a funny, tuneful, and intense musical drama in 90 minutes for 3 singing actors. Its world premiere production opened at the Backyard Renaissance Theater Company in San Diego, California on November 30th, 2017. It was nominated for 5 2017 San Diego's Critics Circle Craig Noel Awards and won Best New Musical. I did not expect the title of that award to be as long as it was.
San Diego Theater Critics Circle.
Every new word was a surprise. A reading was presented by MCC Theater in New York in 2018, directed by Michael Arden and starring Jeremy Jordan, Andy Mientis, and Krista Rodriguez. The same all-star cast is featured on the studio cast recording, now streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you find music. The album, featuring orchestrations by Brian Yusufer, was released on May 11th, 2020 to benefit the Actors Fund COVID-19 assistance programs. I did it all right. I give myself a C-.
I did. You know what? I did write that. I should have been an ad man. What a wonderfully. No, I don't know. That was terrible.
Adam, I am not going to ask you this question. In fact, I'm going to avoid asking you this question. Andrew.
Okay.
What is Tarrytown and what is it about?
Oh, I would love to know.
Oh boy, Tarrytown. Oh, I'm the perfect person to explain this, obviously. We have no one else who could ever explain what this is about.
One more thing. Happy Pride Month, guys. It's Pride Month at Broadway Podcast Network, and this is Integration. Let's go. All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Okay, it's, well, I mean, not to just run through your description again, but it's loosely based on The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Read the name of the award again.
Ichabod. I mean, is his name Ichabod Crane, or is it just Ichabod?
It's Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, okay. It is Ichabod Crane.
I didn't catch his last name, I don't think. They don't...
She literally says, Ichabod Crane, Ichabod... Like, that's the first line.
Right.
How about instead of Andrew describing it, Jesse, you just perform a one-man production of
the whole
it.
Thing. We have 3 people here. We can do it.
Fun fact.
Do it. So get
Adam,
your wig.
I legit almost asked you if we could do this. Because I really...
Do what? Perform it.
Yes, I was about to pay for Andrew to come here and do a live staged reading of this and force like a full encore 1 week. We have to put on Tarrytown at the end of it.
Wow. That is something that nobody would like to see.
I will rope one out. I will rope one out to that.
Either way, Andrew, sorry I interrupted. Continue.
Okay, so Ichabod Crane moves into a new town, Tarrytown. Is Tarrytown a real location, by the way?
It really is.
It really is. Okay.
It's Tarrytown / Sleepy Hollow is like one municipality or something.
It sounds like a fake name, but I guess if it's real, then it's real.
It's super old too. It's been there like,
It sounds like a Gilmore
Washington
Girls,
Irving.
like,
and
city.
Washington Irving is buried there in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, which is also a real place.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I want to go there someday because Sleepy Hollow.
You should go there. It's
cool.
You can just get on that Metro North train.
It's not
in
even
New York, and it's like 45 minutes from New York. It's a great little. They do like all kinds of Halloween stuff, obviously with
Headless
Horsemen, and There's like mansions you can tour, and it's a really cool historical little town.
But Ichabod Crane moves into Tarrytown, and he is a music teacher. And he makes friends with she works at the school, right? She's the principal or something?
Secretary.
Yeah, she's like the principal's assistant.
Yes, principal's assistant.
Yeah.
And then she invites him over for dinner, and they all get together with her husband, her, and Ichabod. And her husband and Ichabod become gay lovers. Is this correct?
Adam, can I say one thing here?
Please do. But I do enjoy that interpretation, actually.
You do cite your sources here with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but there's one source you didn't cite. It was a Pornhub video, which is girl's gay best friend meets husband and converts him, like, you know.
I thought you don't watch porn because you have to be in love with the people to be attracted to them.
Jess, you lied to us.
Wait a minute.
I can confirm because I converted Jess. I told him I was gonna rope one out. I was gonna rope one out to some football one time, and he was instantly on my lap.
Instantly in love.
What does that mean? Rope one out? Is that like rub one out?
I thought that's what the husband character says in this show.
No.
Rub one out, not rope one out.
I thought it was like rope one out, like like your cum is like a rope, you know?
I think you need to go see a doctor, first of all.
You can hang yourself with it.
A rope?
Hope you're listening, Disney.
Oh, no.
Disney
Mr. Disney himself.
Walt Disney.
No, rub one out is a phrase.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what he said. I was like, did he really just say that? That's a weird way to say that.
Do you remember that fake boy band Together from MTV?
No.
We're
Back
children,
in like
Adam.
the early 2000s or the late 90s. Oh yeah, you probably weren't alive yet.
No.
There was MTV had like a TV series called Together with the number 2, and it was a parody of a boy band. It was like a mockumentary about a boy band, but then they actually like formed this fake boy band, and they had albums and everything. And there was one about rubbing one out or something. I can't remember, but I used to love that TV show. That's just a tangent. That's not about anything that we're talking about.
And I'm sure Adam will hope that that's cut out, but it won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So continuing on in the plot, because I didn't even get to finish. Jeez.
Yeah, we didn't get to the ropey part.
We didn't get to the ropey part. Well, actually, we did get to that. That's where we stopped. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with character names sometimes.
There's Katrina, Brom, and Ichabod. There's 3 names.
I know. I can't
And they're
remember
from
the
the
woman's
book.
name. I didn't read the book.
You've never read the book?
No, I've watched.
You didn't even see the Christopher Walken movie?
No, I've seen the the animated short that Disney made.
Oh yeah.
That's about it though. Okay, but Katrina doesn't like Brom anymore. Sort of. She doesn't know, and she wants to leave with Ichabod. Not like lovers, but like live with him as a friend.
Her new gay best friend.
And she does that, and Brom gets super mad and is like, oh, meet me at the graveyard, because we're totally going to be gay lovers, but also I'm going to murder you as a ghost.
This musical sounds amazing. I should have written this one.
All right.
Am I wrong here? Where am I wrong?
Where does he go wrong?
Well, it's just... it's just a little more subtle than that, I think.
I'm not really
hope.
good with subtlety.
Okay, all right. No, I mean that's I guess sort of the gist of it. It's a little more naturalistic. It sounds a little soap opera-y when you say it like that, maybe, but that's not a bad thing for a musical either. So
I mean, it's more Charlie Kaufman than most things. Like, it feels like real family stuff more than it feels like Falsettos feels a little too melodrama, and this feels a little too real.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's like modern day, and it's. You know, it's just about people, really. But
and
then,
ghosts.
and a headless horseman. But is it really a headless horseman, or is it Brom dressed up as a headless horseman, or is it a sort of nightmare hallucination that Ichabod has because he's tripping on drugs at the time? You know, who can say, really?
And the drugs, because the drugs are given to him by Brom. Are they like laced with something in your world? Because this is your world of creation. Like,
Yeah.
did Brom add a little something to it, or did you just get it from someone? Like,
Yeah, well, in an old script, in like a first draft, I think it was like bath salts. Remember bath salts?
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah, the
yeah.
stuff that they make you into cannibals, right?
Yeah, they would
At
find
least
people like
that's
eating the
meme.
faces off
Yeah,
other
that's
people
like
because
the
they were
meme
so
of it.
messed up. That was like an old draft. I don't honestly know exactly what they are. I assume, yeah, it's some kind of Molly or some kind of ecstasy or something that's then laced with
Yeah.
some kind of acid-based hallucinogenic or mushroom or something. He's tripping at the end of the day. And Brahm doesn't necessarily know what they are either, because I think he confiscates them. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've read the script that I wrote. But he confiscates them from like a student who's also
Yeah, that
really
makes
crazy.
sense.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
drugs, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
No, this is kind of
No?
great.
Oh, we're starting at
Jess-
the end.
I know that Jess is going to ask this, so I'm going to ask it first.
Ooh.
What is the authorial intent of the ending? Which one of those three is it?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. That would ruin it for you if you ever saw it on stage.
That is fair. I am
I
very
have my
curious
own
of how this is
interpretation,
staged.
and I don't care what you think. So you can tell me what you think if you want.
I that's for me, only me to know, I think.
Andrew, what is your interpretation? Because I have mine too, so I'm very curious if we differ.
Well, let me just say though, but nobody knows, not even Ichabod, the character who's experiencing it, which is the point. He doesn't know if he is tricked into thinking it's a ghost by his drug-induced hallucination sort of state that he's in. And so he thinks it's a real ghost. And that's where I'll leave it.
I mean, it
But
could be a real ghost too.
Well, yes, it could be any of three real possibilities,
I mean,
for sure. What do
from
you
the
guys think? What do you
world
think?
built in this story, I'm doubting it's a real ghost.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing in it that says ghosts aren't real. It's just,
I would love you to
Unlikely.
use that excuse in any other like family drama film. Air Bud, nothing in that story says that ghosts aren't real.
Okay, if anything,
Air Bud.
Air Bud implies that ghosts are real. There's one possessing the dog.
I've never seen it.
That's a good thing, honestly.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of them are on Disney Plus right next to your face, so don't worry.
I think it was Brahm, and he just kills him. I think that's my interpretation.
Huh.
See, I don't take Brahm as a murderer. I take him as like an asshole sometimes. But I think
Everyone is a murderer if you're pushed far enough.
I don't think he was pushed far enough. Because I
Interesting.
think that he honestly just wanted to get Ichabod real fucked up and then just kind of abandon him and break his heart, so to say, hurt his feelings. I don't think he really wanted to murder him, and then Ichabod just got so in his head that he fell into the water and maybe died? Who knows?
Well, that's another good point. We don't know. I think a lot of people assume that he dies, but that's also not spelled out. That's also a question mark. After he gets pushed or flies or jumps or whatever off that bridge, then what happens?
Exactly.
Well, Tarrytown 2, Ichabod's
Return
Revenge.
of the Terry.
I'm gonna get back at my old boss, the bulimic bitch. I'm a ghost now.
I'm a ghost. Now I'm a headless horse boy.
I'm gonna fuck up those fatties at Dairy Queen. Let's go.
Wow, quoting the lyrics.
I
You
know
are really
every word
good.
to this show, Adam. It's really good.
Jesse, thank you. I will tell you, it's been, the album that came out in May, which is I guess how now most people know the show, was never really meant to be an album. It was really just a demo, like a high quality demo that I was going to try to use to sell the show to theaters to get a production happening. And then it was only because all this, terrible situation with the pandemic, and I was looking for a way to raise money. And I thought, oh, what can I put out there? I don't have anything of value. But I thought, I have this demo. And I emailed Andy and Krista and Jeremy, and they were so generous in saying, yeah, absolutely, put that out there. And all the proceeds are going to charity. So that's what it's coming. But now that it's out, people have obviously discovered it, and there's some amazing fans on Tumblr and Instagram and all these places that I don't understand because I'm too old, but they do fan art, and there's somebody who writes all this fan fiction stuff about the characters that's fascinating for me to read.
Ooh, fan
So,
fiction.
yes.
What's the best story? You got to tell us.
Oh my God, there's a bunch. It's all it's weird. Back in my day, fan fiction meant really sexual stuff, and this is not sexual. It's just fiction, but set in the world of the show. So it's just like Brahm helping Ichabod move and things. It's like very mundane sort of stuff, but it's really well written. And then there's like arguments, in the chat rooms about what's canon and all these things. I'm really tickled and amazed by the whole thing. I love it.
You built a world, Adam.
happy.
Think about that. You built a world that people
I
love
thought I was
to be
setting
in.
it just in the real world, but I guess they are fictional characters. So good for them. I love it.
Now, I've got a question. Were you actively trying to make every character some level of unlikable and real?
Wow, what a question, Jess. I hate every character in this show. Now, was that on purpose?
Honestly, well, sort of. I mean, kind of. Well, I wanted to make them real, and real people have faults. And also, the real struggle for me writing it was that there were only 3 characters. So how do you make 90 minutes of conflict happen if just 3 likable people are like sitting around being nice to each other? That's not going to work out.
Yeah, that's a lame story. I would want to see that.
I like them all. I think they all do some not great things necessarily, but it all comes from a place of wanting to be loved and be accepted. And I think that's why most people do bad things, because they maybe don't like themselves that much. And so they, I don't know, have to act out on it.
Now, Adam, here's another thing I want to talk about. Mostly I want to get your permission to talk about it beforehand, because you were gracious enough to lend me a script to read through, as well as a read through that gave me a lot of context and recontextualized a lot of things that weren't in the album.
Sure.
Do you want me to talk about some of those, or do you want to leave those still mysterious for a bit?
Let's leave some of it mysterious. We can talk about anything, like, let's say, in the first 2/3 of the show.
Oh, okay. But let me just say, there's a specific reveal, because I've loved this album for a while, a long time. It was on your SoundCloud, which is where I listened to it for a good chunk of my experience with it.
How did you even find that?
Because I knew who you were for a while. Like, I was like outwardly.
Jess
like,
is a weird stalker.
I am. Let's just
That's
frame it
fair.
like that. I am a stalker of people who do art I enjoy.
That's a fair thing. I think we all have to. We all are to some extent.
I try to keep an arm's distance where I'm not like just Anya every day, but I'm like, I like this and I'm gonna just listen.
Great.
But nevertheless, so my version of the story was very different and contextualized only by the album.
Really? Well, yeah, because of course the album is, I think, 17 songs, but the show itself has some more. I mean, nothing like reprises and things, and there's obviously scenes, and there's things that you don't hear on an album.
The one that had me floored, that recontextualized a bunch of songs in the second half and made my heart just fall out of my chest hearing about it, is Things with Katrina, and things you learn in a song that you find out more about later that I'm like, oh no,
Yeah, there's stuff in there. So I would tell you, if you are just a fan of the album and don't, you can just stay that way in blissful ignorance, or you can watch the videotaped version that Backyard Renaissance is doing, or petition your local theater once they open to do a production of Tarrytown, so that they can be sent to perusal script.
Spicier and spicier.
I mean, yes. And honestly, if you know the album, you don't know the whole show. Like when you're, oh gosh, now I gotta pull up the song because I don't want to get it wrong. When You're Near, I had it right in my head.
Yeah.
That song just comes off as perfectly sincere on both ends when you're listening to the album. But when you watch the show, it is very much not that way. And my question is, and this really isn't much of a spoiler, does Brahm return any of those feelings to Ichabod at all, do you think?
I think that's possible, but I don't think that Brahm would ever admit that to himself. So I don't think at any point Brahm finds himself falling for Ichabod. No. No.
He's already in love with football.
Exactly. He's got his own left hand.
Is the kiss reciprocal from Brahm in the way you envision it?
I think it's reciprocal only in the sense that he is doing it as a means to an end, which is to convince Ichabod to go to the cemetery.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's coming from a place of passion or feelings like that. No.
Okay. Just things that, like, once again, I thought he would just naturally felt it and then just couldn't go to the cemetery. Like, that was the story that was written in my head.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I think Brahms certainly heterosexual at the end of the day.
Brom wanted to commit murder by ghost. That's kind of, and the kiss was the way to make that happen.
I mean, murder by ghost is the most effective way to do it because no one would catch you.
No one can catch you. The ghost did it, not you.
The ghost did it, exactly. Ghosts don't leave fingerprints, I've been told.
It's true.
All right.
I think there's a ghost in my house.
Ooh. Are you there, ghost?
We are speaking to you through the computer.
Who's got a spirit box?
Well, when I first came to look at this house, there was a shrine set up in the corner to the woman who had died in it.
Oh, God.
So,
what was her name?
I can't remember. It was Russian. She was a Russian woman. She was quite old, and she passed away, I think, in the house with about 12 cats, and she's no longer with us. So I never got to actually meet her. But maybe one of these days she'll come back and push me over a bridge. Hopefully not.
And you know what? You know what'll make it all better if she does come back?
What?
Just take her in your car and go pick some apples.
Apple picking is a great idea for fall.
I would rope one out for some apples.
Oh, God.
On that note, let's go into a mid-show announcement.
What's the announcement?
More patrons.
Oh, Jesus.
They never ends.
They never end, Adam. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we gotta shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by our extremely kind donors over at Patreon. Let's read through the list. Our current patrons are Terry Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Lehrer, Lily Ackles, John Donna, Taryn the Duck with Fantastic, Jess Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Taskier, Fire September, Mina Maneri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Allison Wonderland, B-Wave Flakes, Nathaniel, Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Luna Rocks 222, Yura Gale, Drew A. Whiter, Carrie Ahern, Christine Malmedel, Mezzanine Theater Diary, Mary Lou Choquette, Ann Nunnally, Cole Birchfield, Sam Caulfield, John Vanals, Holistically, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Grace, Andrew Van Barson, Emily Stack, Kyle Summers, Mr. B, Janae C, Kyle, Christina Francis, Jessica A, Skylar, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth, Allison Stuhler, and that's it. They give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you'd like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as patron-only commentaries, our episodes a day early or even earlier, let's just come on over to Patreon. We got a lot of shit. All right, let's get back to the show.
And maybe I'll meet the love of my life. Hell, I've been here now barely a day. It's not like I'm in some alien country. Manhattan's an hour away. And maybe it's now a possible dream to give my life some cognoscible theme. So fuck you to my old boss, a bulimic bitch. Which brings me to Tarrytown, face the adventure with honor, with pride. A new chapter starting, my terror departing with every stride. Goodbye to my morning, a city more hip. Good morning to Tarrytown citizenship. Good riddance to all the good nights and good lucks no one said. Welcome to Tarrytown, maybe I'll tarry here till I'm dead.
Let's talk about the opening number, which I 100% know every word to and I love. Isn't that just a weird thing to say to someone who wrote it? So what was your mindset behind this? What were some of your inspirations behind the opening number of Tarrytown, entitled Tarrytown?
It is, yeah. Well, I knew it was one of the earlier songs that I wrote. I mean, I've been writing this thing for like 10 years. You know, it's not like I just sat down and wrote Tarrytown one day. It's been a long road, but this was one of the earliest ones. I think the first one I wrote was When You're Near. And then I wrote, so I wrote it early on, and I needed a song to set up the world of the show and our main character. And I thought, well, he's probably walking through the town, and he can just comment out loud on the things he sees, and that'll be a nice description of the town in case the theater can't afford a set.
Wow. I wonder if Sondheim gets that in depth.
If you had Jess describe what he thought you were thinking while writing this, it definitely would have not been that.
Oh, 100%. And now I'm gonna do that. I honestly feel like this is like a classic like opening number, so to say, like both setting up character, not exactly character intention, but character like within this world and as a representation. Outsider in here, and I love the content dictates form Sondheim-esque world that you put this in, where you are listing very specific things, because at its heart it kind of is just a list song. Or it's like the Dairy Queen, like that feels like very small town, very unlike New York City. Like, I think all
it was
those
just
things
setting
are like
setting the time and place, just setting up like we're in modern day, and this is the place where the story takes, and you get a little bit of Ichabod backstory, and then you get a little bit of character motivation. It's sort of like an opening number crossed with an I Want song, which is like this sort of sets him on his way.
Did you go to Tarrytown for research?
I did go to Tarrytown for research.
How was that?
It was super fun. I just went once. I was living in New York at the time, obviously. One day I got on the train at Grand Central and went up to Tarrytown for the day and just walked everywhere, took a lot of notes, took a lot of pictures, stopped in places. The tea shop that I referenced in Dinner for Three is I had lunch there, and just try to get some ideas. At the time, I think I'd already done one draft or almost a draft of the show, and so I just went and like got some more specific stuff. Sort of just think, okay, what a gift to a writer to really visit the world of the show that you're writing. Sondheim couldn't really go back to Victorian England and study for Sweeney Todd, but I could sure go to present day Tarrytown, and I did. And I recommend it. It's a very charming little town.
All right, I think that's great. Andrew, what did you think of this song? Did you see any faults?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it was awful. Absolutely terrible. Some sort of hack must have written this. It's just... No, I don't really have anything more to add. I mean, what else do you add to that? You have the input of the actual writer here.
I mean, that's
I think
fair.
the bridge, isn't the bridge like, doesn't it quote a song later? Doesn't it quote part of When You're Near? I think it does.
Yeah, where it's like back in New York.
That's the same. That's the same tune and chord structure as When You're Near, which is Ichabod's big song, sort of big 11 o'clock romantic number coming later in the show. So it's just setting that up at the same time.
Funny you should mention that, because I have this literally written down on a notepad right here. Which came first, When You're Near or Tarrytown? And did you?
He already answered that.
When You're Near came first. That When You're Near came before anything else in the whole show.
Did that were you thinking of using that for like a song cycle originally, or was it always for this specific piece?
It was always for this piece. But it moved around a lot within the piece, and now it exists sort of in two chunks. He sings part of it earlier on in the show. On the cast recording, it's condensed back into one full song, but in the show itself, he sings part of it first at the school when he first sort of decides he's going to try to pursue something with Brahm, and then sings the rest of it later on Halloween. And
I was a little thrown off guard when I got to that in the script, in all honesty. I was like, wait, there's more to this song. I know it.
Yeah.
All right. No, I think that's all we have to say about Tarrytown, because that's...
All right. Well, it was nice talking to you both.
that first opening number. We got a lot more songs to go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
My new gay best friend, someone who gets me. Maybe we'll go on adventures in the city, me and my new gay best friend. If my husband lets me, hope he doesn't get too jealous. My new friend will take me shopping at Macy's. The will to my grace, he's my gay new best, my best new, my new gay best friend.
My new gay best friend.
Yeah, I was skipping Katrina's welcome song. I get it.
I mean,
or Katrina.
It's just not good.
We have a lot of songs to go through.
All right. My new gay best friend. Yeah.
What is there something you wanted to say specifically about Katrina's welcome song?
No, God, no. Well, there used to be no, I could do this for every song.
Oh my God.
It's been through so many like drafts and things. I could tell you like all the old stuff, but nobody cares. So moving on.
Man.
Now everybody is going to be on Twitter saying, why didn't you let him talk about that song?
Well, they can ask me. I'm on Twitter all the time. They just message me and I'll respond and tell you the whole story. I can send people old drafts. I don't care.
I remember getting, like, on Twitter, someone saying, like, I dreamed that I met Adam Wachter last night, and all I could say was he is my favorite guest on Musicals with Cheese. And then
I saw that.
And then I added you because I thought it was funny, and I feel bad because I feel like I outed that person that did not tag you for a reason.
Oh my God. No, I love that so much. People do that with Encore all the time, where someone will just post something about me and then someone who actually knows me will tag me in it and they'll be like, oh God, I didn't think you'd actually see this. But you know, I love it. You can, anything that strokes my ego, I am down for. And yeah.
But no. Yeah, that's great. My new gay best friend. I'm wondering, is this based on any true events outside of like this podcast where you are obviously our gay best friend? Of course.
I think it's just based on every, that dynamic that feels very Will and Gracie, which, is a girl and her gay best friend. I think you find it a lot. And I think you especially find it maybe with women in, this is generalizing, but in smaller towns or somewhere where, well, you're too young again, but like back in the 90s, it was like very much a trope that gay men were best friends with girls and they would like do each other's hair and things, and that all gay men were good for was like decorating and gossiping and things. Yeah. So, and then Will and Grace came along and sort of opened so many doors in terms of representation, but also kind of solidified that stereotype idea. So yeah.
Well, living in a small town right now, I can say there's not a ton of gay people that are around to become best friends with. So this is
they're there. They just haven't come out.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that they're not out in the open all the time about it.
Well,
so.
I mean, Andrew, now who are you going to talk about blowouts and blowjobs with?
Exactly.
I can talk about it with you, Jess.
I'm very proud of the lyric. One of my favorite lyrics of the whole show is in My New Gay Best Friend, when at the end she says, my new friend will take me shopping at Macy's, the Will to my Grace. He's my new gay best friend. Yeah. That's a good, Sondheim, you're welcome.
Yes, that is a great lyric.
Thank you. I'm not proud of most of my work. I tend to really second guess myself and judge my own work, but that's objectively good, I think.
I think the whole song is objectively good, but it almost reads as a villain song to me. She seems very predatory. She seems very, very predatory. I was going to say something
like that, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
that's fair. That's fair.
She immediately latches onto him and is like, this person is going to make my life better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. She's very self-centered, which you get a lot through the show. She's very much in her own head and dealing with her own things, but it comes out in like a very selfish way the entire time. Even when which I don't think is on the album, but she's the one who first gets Ichabod to break his sobriety. It's not Brom, it's her when she finally gets up the courage to leave her husband and then offers Ichabod champagne to celebrate and convinces him to break his sobriety. It's always the Katrina show. Yeah.
Katrina is actually the horseman.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Well, what if the horse is like one of those costumes where like Katrina is the front and Brom is the back and they're walking around?
What if Katrina and Brom, like the sequel to this is just they're still there and there's a new character that shows up and they just like to kill people?
Do you know what? That's very clever of you to say so, because one of the drafts, that was the thing. That was after I did the first reading, a friend of mine saw it and said, you know what should happen is at the end there should be a reveal that like they do this every year with the new music teacher who comes to town. And I very briefly wrote that as a draft and then I immediately.
Well, I mean, and then you have the final song, Another Halloween, and it happens again.
They just every year throw someone off a bridge.
Honestly, I could see that working. It's just a different show, and maybe that's the thing that like rejuvenates their marriage every year is this. Like that's the one reason why they keep staying together.
Well, it's very like that. Isn't that the plot of Virginia Woolf? Basically, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Yeah,
man, it's been done. Simpsons did it.
But in Ichabod's mind, Katrina is the villain throughout every single step. Like, she is the hindrance between him and Brom, which is set up in his opening number and his I Want song. He wants to meet the love of his life and, like, all that and all that. And Katrina's in the way of that. He wants to stay sober. She fucks that up. And really, Katrina is the catalyst that leads Brom to killing him, quote unquote.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I think that Ichabod genuinely likes her and feels sorry for her and appreciates her friendship, the friendship that she invests in him. So that's why Man in the Middle happens, because he's
No,
yeah,
I think he's the manipulator. I think he sees that she's vulnerable. See, this is all about character reading.
Oh, you think he wants to get her away from his love?
Yes, I honestly think that he has equally as terrible implications behind this, because only because of one line, and maybe Adam can tell me whether that's intentional or not. When he literally refers to Katrina as a laughing hyena in the end, like.
Oh, I always thought that was just sort of a throwaway, like because she's so. She's so
deep reading.
chatty. No, it's just because her whole thing is she talks. She gab. You know, she's just very gabby as a.
I don't know. I would never refer to any friend of mine, no matter how chatty, if I didn't like that kind of throwaway.
Yeah, but that's because you don't have a friend named Katrina that you have to rhyme her name with. Otherwise, you would.
You're right.
He's got a point.
If your friend's name was Debra, maybe you would call her a zebra.
You know what?
Wouldn't it be Deborah?
You've sold me.
I know, but Deborah
I'm
doesn't
still
have a zebra.
angry about this, and I still stand by that. I think Ichabod is manipulating her.
They're all manipulating each other in a sense. But isn't that what we do as humans? Aren't we all trying to manipulate the world around us to get what we want?
It's all self-interest.
I'm not doing that.
This is a very Randian piece.
About to say, were you inspired by Ayn Rand when you wrote this?
I've never read any Ayn Rand.
That's probably a good thing.
Are you a fan of objectivism?
Oh, God.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
Are we going in the Incredibles?
We're getting
route?
very philosophical
Are we trying to drag
here.
this to the dirt here?
Now, hon, the game's on. Watch now, see them crumble. Ref calls it a fumble, so cue the new coach's whine. Holy shit, he missed it. Kicker barely kissed it, and yet you just sit benign. You might think it's corny, but this makes me horny. I could rub one out just fine. Once more in slow motion. Jesus, grab the lotion. 4 down to the 10-yard line. Who's this guy? What's his deal? What's this awkwardness that I feel? When he's near, when he's close, there's a flutter of fear that I can't diagnose. I'm the football flying that deep.
All right, there's so many songs I still want to talk about. I got a question.
Okay.
4 downs to the 10-yard line. Did you know anything about football before writing that?
Nothing.
Did you learn because of the University of Michigan?
No, I went to half of a game the entire 4 years that I was in school at the University of Michigan.
That's about right.
I had as a freshman, you get first dibs on like a season ticket, which I guess is like a very high value item for people. But I had that and I didn't even ever use it. But no, 4 downs. I knew I wanted to write it. I didn't know anything about football, but I thought that would be a cute song for them to sort of bond over. You get this like very theatrical gay guy and then this very straight sports oriented straight guy. And I thought that'd be fun. So I asked my friend Brian Patrick Murphy, who is a very big sports fan and a heterosexual man.
What?
And I took
In
him
theater?
to I know. Can you believe it? I said, I will buy you dinner if you will go with me and explain to me everything you know about football and how it's played and everything about it and what you love about it. And I recorded the conversation and took notes. And I basically turned that conversation into 4 downs to the 10-yard line.
So he likes to jerk off the football?
Yeah.
Well, no. No, he does not. That I know of. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. I wanted to sexualize Brahm also. Obviously, like there's all the football stuff in the song, but the other half of the duet is Ichabod singing about his like immediate lust for this man. So I wanted to sexualize him in a way. And that's he doesn't actually like whip it out and start jacking off when he's watching football. He's just saying like he loves it so much it turns him on in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and a lot of heterosexual men do tend to sexualize everything and turn everything into sex because they like to remind people of their heterosexuality in a way that I find a lot of bi or gay people don't often do.
Okay, that's a take.
I'm not really sure about that one.
No, because
Yeah,
I definitely
I
do
don't
see that.
know.
Because a lot of heterosexual men I know are very overtly sexual and willing to sexualize most situations. There's a reason why they draw dicks any chance they get.
Who's drawing dicks?
I think
Who are you
people
hanging out with?
Jess, are you hanging out with third graders again? I told you not to do that.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Did they draw a dick on your forehead when you fell asleep? Don't fall asleep first at the sleepover.
With third graders. Oh my god. All right, we're done with that. I feel like I'm getting picked on here.
You're getting bullied.
You
Jess.
bring it on yourself, Jesse.
I do.
Up the stairs is strong and stable. Up the stairs is sad and staid. Up the stairs was just a fable we made. Down the stairs and out the door and into open sky. Down the stairs and on my own, just me, myself and I. Never believed I would do it. Never believed I could fly. Down the stairs and out the door. Goodbye.
Let's talk about Down the Stairs.
Yeah, the big hit.
Was this really the big hit?
I think this is like the most well-known song from the show for sure.
That is shocking. All right,
this
just
song
explain.
this is the only song, as far as I know, that has like made multiple appearances on the audition circuit in New York, where girls are singing this song.
Ooh.
All right, tell me your artistic inspirations behind this piece.
This
Mr.
piece,
Wachter.
this song did not exist in the first couple of drafts of Tarrytown that I did private readings of just to hear it out loud and show it to some friends and things. This song was not there. There was another song that was like Back Home, which is sort of this little interstitial song that Ichabod sings in the middle of Dinner for Three.
Mm-hmm.
There was another version of Back Home that came right after Apple Picking Song that Brahm and Katrina sang as a duet. And it was about Katrina like wondering if she should go back home and Brahm wanting Katrina to come back home. Anyway, that got cut. And Down the Stairs, I remember I was in Washington, D.C. at the time doing a show somewhere. I can't remember which show I was doing. And I knew Katrina needed a song. And it started with this 4-note phrase that just repeats the entire time. It's really just the whole song is ba da da da. It's just that over and over and over again, and it either just speeds up or slows down. But that is the accompaniment the entire time, and I realized I could play that figure, and it would sort of embody this idea of her stepping down a step and then back up a step and being unsure of whether to go down or up. So it was just playing with down and up. She goes down and then she goes back up and then she goes down and then that just gets faster and it goes da 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 and the chord changes underneath it and she sings and that's Down the Stairs. And she belts high and everyone loves it.
Krista Rodriguez does her Krista Rodriguez thing.
Mm-hmm. She sure does.
It's good.
Great.
It's really good. It's so I know what am I trying to say here? Why did you choose this as the kind of interstitial prologue of the show too?
What is what?
Because that da da da.
Oh, no, that's they sound the same, but they're different. That prologue was written way before Down the Stairs, actually. I mean, I tried to make everything in the show, well, almost everything. Obviously, like some songs don't sound like anything else. Like Man in the Middle is sort of its own thing, and
Yeah.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow is its own thing. You don't hear a lot of that again. But When You're Near and Down the Stairs and the prologue and the opening number, they all quote from each other. And I did that purposefully, mostly, because I did want it to feel like one piece. And I also think that audiences get very satisfied when they get to revisit musical ideas as opposed to hearing one song and then never hearing it again. So everything, hopefully, in the score feels like a little bit related.
Mm-hmm. But it's very obvious that you wrote separate songs for each where you just borrow pieces. It's not like, say, an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical where I'm pretty sure he writes 3 songs, repeats it 1,000 times, and then calls it a musical.
No, that's true. It's not that sort of style. That's more like an operatic style.
Mm-hmm. But no, this song is, like, it's hard to say something about something that's just generally good and, like, sounds
thanks.
beautiful. Like, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass. We kind of...
But we are.
Yeah, we are.
I'll take it. I like anything blown up my ass, let me tell you.
If smoke gets blown up your ass, does it come out your mouth, or is that a misconception?
The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Let's talk about that.
One Hessian in particular, a giant fearsome beast, slaughtered piles of colonists before the fighting ceased. Towering high on horseback, he galloped through the mud, slicing heads off soldier boys to quench his thirst for blood. George Washington himself was said to fear the man. He urged his troops to hunt the deadly crowd. His men picked up the charge, the generals all sat down and planned an ambush just to flush him out. October 31st, the soldiers' luck reversed. They gathered in the hollow and lay still. And who should ride in then but the Hessian and his men? As darkness fell on Tarrytown, the colonists heard fire at will. Their muskets blast the air. He jerks with each new shot. His story should be over then, but sorry to say it's not. 'Cause one ambitious new recruit is eager to impress. And like future generations, often Middle Eastern nations, desperate to be patriotic, pulls out something idiotic. He grabs hold his trusty saber, and with some admitted labor, saws through flesh, tissue, and tendon, gives a spinal cord a bending, snaps his head clean off his torso, holds it high. Look what I got!
All right, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is probably the most different from what it originally was. I can send you an old demo that I have of the original Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which was an 8-minute long song, and it was a vastly detailed story about a German Hessian soldier. It went on, and it told this whole thing, kind of like how Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow movie does, where they really get into the backstory of the horseman as a character. And it was really long, and when Backyard Renaissance decided to premiere the show, that was one of their only notes, really. They said, can you take a look at that song? It just feels like it's too long, and it stopped the show, not in a good way. And it's just too late in the show at that point to be like telling this story. And honestly, story songs, nobody ever likes a story song. Like,
I do. I'm lame.
Well,
Someone in a Tree is one of the best songs ever written, so...
No, Someone in a Tree is good. But like the Shmuel song, or
What?
like, you know, just one of those songs.
The
It's just-
Shmuel song.
Fuck
That's
you,
just like-
Andrew.
No,
classic.
the Shmuel song is a great song, but in the context of the show, it's like you're invested in the story you're watching. You don't want to hear another story told to you. And that's what Sleepy Hollow felt like. So I shortened it, and I don't remember how the current version goes anymore. But then because it was Jeremy Jordan, actually it changed again, and all those like crazy high notes and stuff. We added that in together because he wanted to sing higher and could.
Yeah, he's Jeremy Jordan.
He's Jeremy Jordan. He can
known
sing
very
anything.
well for singing both the Shmuel song and The Legend of Sleepy
That's
Hollow.
right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, he's honestly incredible. He's probably like one of the most talented people I've ever worked with.
And specifically in the album recording, he just drips masculine heterosexuality in this song more than like Four Downs in the 10-yard line. Like, he's very intense here.
Yeah, very intense, very sexy. I think probably because he doesn't get to sing this low a lot. You don't hear this side of him that much and stuff because he can sing high so well that of course everyone has him do that. But when he sings that low stuff, it is hot, even when it's about a 18th century German soldier.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Like, what kind of did you intend for this to be a Christopher Walken portrayed Hessian soldier when you wrote it?
No.
What?
What do you mean?
When you describe this Hessian, is he played by Christopher Walken?
Oh no, in my head he's young. In my head I can't remember if it's in the new version of the song, but in the original there was like all these parallels to him, like at the time like Abu Ghraib and everything was happening. So I was thinking of these young soldiers who, because he wouldn't have been Christopher Walken's age at the time. These Germans came over to fight in the Revolutionary War and they would have been young guys. They would have been like 16 to, early 20s probably, because they were soldiers. So I would think he would be young and sort of misguided. And he's not the one that cuts off the head. It's the other soldier that does it, the American, right?
Yes.
I can't remember. Jesse, you know the songs better than I do at this point. I haven't heard them in so long. No, I was thinking they'd be sort of strapping young soldiers.
Gotcha. I still envision Christopher Walken as the Hessian.
Okay, that's fair.
Because that's just what that character is to me. It's Christopher Walken.
I mean, he's
Darth
so
Maul.
good. He's so good in that movie. I mean, the whole inspiration to write this Tarrytown show came because I saw a Canadian television movie of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow starring Brent Carver as Ichabod Crane.
My God, that is perfect casting. Like,
I know.
The nerve. Man, Brent Carver needs to be in more things.
Yeah, whatever. Where is Brent Carver?
What are you up to? When's that parade reunion happening?
Yeah. Come on, Seth Rudetsky. Reunite the cast of Parade.
Everyone's favorite show is Parade, right?
Everyone's.
That bucket of laughs Parade.
Oof.
When you're near.
I can see you're like me, spinning lost and forlorn, always cursing the day and the way you were born. When you're near, I dream of the future we'll share. When you're near, I fantasize seeing you there. Doubt and fear disappear when you're near. When you're near. When you're near. When you smile, I reconcile from denial. All the while I can't bear knowing there lies somewhere infantile shame and fear. Wrong, let it out. I'm standing right here. When you're near me, don't you feel the same way I do? When you're near.
That song is incredible. Like, this song is...
That's the first one I wrote.
And you feel it. Like, sometimes you listen...
You feel it. It feels
Sometimes
amateur.
you listen to a musical and then you get...
amateur.
No. Sometimes when you listen to a musical, especially a song cycle or something like that, and you get to one song and it's like, this is the reason the show exists. This is the big thematic idea that everything was building to. And when you hear that this is the reason why the show was written, or the first thing that was written, it makes complete sense. And I feel that's very true here.
Yeah. I mean, this is what everything stemmed from. It was the first one I wrote. This is where the prologue theme comes from. It's in the accompaniment. Bum, bum, bum. And that phrase echoes over and over. And this is similar... And this is like showing you what a lazy composer I am. But again, the same as in Down the Stairs and the same that's coming up in Another Halloween. I like to get one really good figure going, and then I just sort of keep it going through the song. So in When You're Near, you get and it just repeats over and over and over again.
And what made you make this a solo and not any form of duet, so to say?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I think maybe I thought at that point Ichabod earned his solo and we wanted one from him. And I don't know that Bram would sing in that moment, because I think that Bram is in such a different place. There's, dramatic irony going on, because we as an audience know at that point that Bram is not interested. And we know that Ichabod is, and we know that Bram has this sort of plan happening. So I don't think it would be honest for Bram to join him in any sort of love duet, because I don't think that he is a sophisticated enough sort of plotter that he would.
He's not a schemer type.
No, exactly. Thank you,
I imagine
schemer.
him more
Yeah,
like a siren. Like, he basically is like the siren, like calling him to his death by water, so to say.
yes, but he doesn't do it in a sophisticated way. He does it with just some sort of heavy-handed flirtation and some booze and some drugs.
And then death by ghost.
Some empty promises and potentially death by ghost. But I don't think he's singing a love duet with him. I don't know. It just felt like a good, also it just felt like a musical theater solo song. It sounds like
solo number.
Run Away With Me and all those
Andy Mantis
contemporary
needs it. Give it to him.
Exactly. I mean, Lord knows Andy Mantis then gets another 7-minute solo immediately afterwards.
That was the reason
But that's a very different thing.
That's the reason why I was asking, because you have two very Ichabod-centric songs, and I was wondering if there was ever a consideration of making a duet, which is...
It's not a bad idea, and maybe in the future I will.
It was just a question. I'm not criticizing.
No. It's not a bad idea. It truly isn't, because then you do get so much solo Ichabod. But I guess I think he earns it because it is ultimately his story. So he wraps it up with his. And When You're Near is such a different number. Ichabod, things are happening, and he's going through something. And When You're Near is just a full-on musical theater, orgasmic explosion of love.
Mm-hmm. I was shocked because I feel in my brain when I listened to this, I thought Brahm had come out with like some attempted heterosexual's version of a gay seduction before that, and like that's what prompts this song, and it really doesn't in the story and in the script, so to say. So I was shocked, and I was like, well, maybe at one point this was a duet. So yeah,
no, it never was a duet, but one day might be.
Hey, I'd love to hear it. I think their voices would blend.
Why
very
don't you
nicely
just
together.
play the recording and then you sing along the duet part with it?
It would sound bad. That's why.
Oh.
I can confirm it.
Well, nobody has to hear it. I'm just saying, do it on your own.
You think some of the singing in encore is bad? Just wait.
Andrew, do you watch Encore? No.
I haven't seen it. No.
No, that's all right.
I've thought about, like, before we started the Glee show, I was like, we should do, like, the encore, like, episode by episode. Then I was like, that might get weird because Adam's
There
a
is
friend.
an Encore podcast episode
I know,
by
and
episode.
they're great, and I didn't want to
they're
rip
good.
them off either, but also it's behind a paywall, so, like, if people are paying for it, I don't care if I'm ripping someone off.
What's behind a paywall? Their podcast?
Yeah, our Glee podcast is behind a paywall.
Oh, your Glee podcast.
So
We
is, I
would
see.
have would have been
Encore
yeah.
podcast, once upon a time.
Oh, I see.
Before we decided on Glee. And then Glee luckily became in the news again recently, so thank God for
Ooh,
that.
Yep.
I'm sure you have plenty of stories heard secondhand.
I have some firsthand stories, but I will not divulge them here.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Great. Cut that out from the episode.
I will. That will be cut out, but I think my face said it all.
Yeah.
We should have him on as a guest on our Glee podcast. That'd be fun.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I haven't seen Glee since... Well, first of all, I never saw anything past the first season. And then I haven't
still
seen
on
the
the
first
first
season.
season.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Well, I haven't seen it since it originally aired. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. We'd make you
can
watch
just
the
come.
one,
I've never
the
seen
one
it at
episode
all.
we're doing that week out of context, and we talk about it.
This is what I'll say about Glee, is I saw... It has nothing to do with Glee, really, but I saw Amber Riley play Effie in Dreamgirls in the West End, and it was one of the best performances. One of the cleanest live vocal performances I've ever witnessed. It was phenomenal.
There's a reason she has a career, and other unnamed people do not really have one anymore. All right, another Halloween.
Another Halloween. Another glass to clean. There goes another year that I'm still sitting here, maintaining the routine. Another Halloween.
Any more trick-or-treaters?
Not for a while now. I think they've all gone to bed.
Finally. We should too. Are you coming up?
Soon. Brom, do you think we could go into the city next weekend? Maybe see a show?
Ooh, next weekend. I don't know. You know, I have to rake all the leaves up before it snows, or they'll ruin the lawn.
Never mind. It's just an idea.
Yeah, maybe the weekend after, okay? I'll see you upstairs. I love you.
Another Halloween. Another stilted scene. Sustaining playing house. A stranger for a spouse. Behind a private screen. Another Halloween. Not moving.
Another Halloween is a funny story because I remember being in my apartment in New York. Now I don't live in New York anymore, so I guess they're all my old apartment, but not my most recent apartment. The one before that, not that anyone knows what I'm talking about, but if you know me, you know that I used to live on 47th Street, and I had this little studio apartment.
New Yorkers.
Yeah. And my best friend Paul was coming over, and we were going to have sushi, and he stopped by and came, and right before he stopped by, I had played on my piano this, again, 2-note figure that I figured would be a good one to repeat, which is just a fourth going bum, 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 bum. And and he came in and he said, all right, let's go to dinner. And I said, wait, just a second, I have to write this down or record this because otherwise I'll forget it. And he was like, oh, what is it? A new melody, something exciting. And I went to the piano and just went, bum, 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 bum. Okay, I got it. Let's go to dinner. Like literally it's nothing. It's 2 notes, but I didn't want to forget it. I get paranoid because these things enter my brain. And then if I don't record myself playing them or humming them or write it down in some way, then they're lost to the ages. And I was like, no, that's good. That's good. So yeah, it's just those 2 notes going forever, and then I changed the root underneath it, and that's it. That's Another Halloween. I don't think Another Halloween gets enough love. You know, it's the last song in the show, so people, I guess, like maybe don't make it all the way through.
They already got their playbill up. They're getting their jacket on.
I am very proud of Another Halloween. I think it's very pretty. Yeah, I don't know.
I think specifically in the first email I sent you asking you to be on our show for that merrily, I mentioned that Another Halloween makes me cry.
Oh, I think maybe you did, and that made me so happy.
Because I do love this song, and it was probably the one I listened to the most. Like, it's right neck and neck to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, because those two...
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Andy Mantis. You're great, but...
But who knew that Andy Mantis didn't get all the great songs? I thought he did.
Jeremy Jordan and Krista Rodriguez. I love that family drama stuff.
Yeah, Another Halloween is very sad, but it's also very pretty. And I've always liked that dichotomy. I think to write like a sad song and have it just be very minor and down is not human and is not interesting. I think to have something beautiful be sad is more interesting.
It's a real depressing message, like about monotony and getting like your lot in life and all that. It hit me hard, specifically right after post-college graduation, where I'm like, what am I doing? I'm in the workforce, and is this my life now forever?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Revolution.
Is every day just another Halloween?
I wish. Every day's worse than Halloween.
Can I tell you something? This is a big reveal, but I hate Halloween. It is my least favorite holiday. I can't believe I wrote an entire musical about it.
You wrote
I
like
never
the only
liked
Halloween musical.
I wrote, maybe the only Halloween musical. Well, there's the Halloween number in Mean Girls. I guess that would be the other one.
That's a sexy number.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know how
I am not a Halloween fan. I do not like dressing up in costumes. I don't like seeing other people dressed up in costumes. I hate scary things.
Please say costumes again.
Is that how I say it?
Costumes.
Costumes. How do you say it?
I very minute costumes, and you're like costumes.
Those sound the same to me. Am I crazy?
There's like a third syllable that you put on the
Why does everyone have an accent except me?
Andrew, say costumes.
Costumes.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's only 2 syllables.
I can't say anything properly, though, so you're probably right on this one.
No, I doubt it. Mine's like a weird...
I mean, which one of us has written a musical? He's saying it right.
That has
writing a musical does not mean you're smarter or better than anybody.
You're right. Look at Adam Gettle.
Ooh.
Whoa, was that a hot take I just put out there?
I don't know what it was, but it seemed very
rude,
very acidic.
He said some stuff.
That's true. He says some things that I'm not a fan of on the old Twitter.
Yeah, and just writing a musical doesn't mean all your opinions are right, or that you say costume correctly.
You say it the same way I do.
I just said it like you as a joke.
Oh, I see.
Guys, I was only pretending to not know how to say it.
But no, you hate Halloween. You hate costumes, and
I don't like scary things. The only thing about Halloween I like is the candy, because I love candy.
There's candy and there's scary things, and those are both great. I don't know how you don't like
I don't like scary things. I love autumn, and I love the whole sort of vibe of autumn, and like.
See, that's what's great with Halloween, though, is you don't have to celebrate Halloween. You can just do Oktoberfest.
But that's why I wish Halloween wasn't there to ruin autumn for me.
It's like
Halloween.
Like leaves are turning colors, and there's a chill in the air, and pumpkin spice is back at Starbucks, and then for a week I have to worry about being scared wherever I go, and it ruins it.
Who's out there scaring people on Halloween?
Everyone.
I've never been
in Pittsburgh and New York. I get it. And Michigan, which is just scary in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with that. If I want to get scared, I have to turn on a scary movie or something. No one's willing to scare me.
Or Fox
News. You know what I love? This is really lame, but I was just telling a friend about this because he was telling me that he didn't like scary movies either. And my saving grace with scary movies, because I think there are scary movies that are like really excellent films and that I enjoy watching, but I get so worried about the jump scares that I can't enjoy them. So there's this website that I found called where'sthejump.com, and they tell you exactly where every scare is in the movie, like at what minute and second, and what the scare is and what level of scare it is. It's cheating, and I'm sure the filmmakers would not want to know that I was using
Absolutely cheating.
I don't like jump scares. I'll take gore, fine. Blood and guts, perfect. Violence, sure. It's jump scares. I hate them.
Okay, Adam, I'm
Jump
very
scares are
much
lazy,
like
so
you,
there is that.
where just loud noises freak me out in general, like in life. Like anytime there's like a prop gun that has to be fired in like the Phantom of the Opera or anything, I can't handle it. But jump scares don't bother me. For some reason, I'm just able to disconnect between the two. Hold on once. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
So yeah. Guys, what is our thoughts on Tarrytown and our cheese rating? I'm gonna make Andrew go first.
Oh
Forgot
boy.
about the cheese. Hang on, I'm Googling.
Okay.
He really is the third host of the show.
Okay, so I thought it was pretty good actually. Pleasantly surprised. I looked up the composer and I wasn't impressed, but you know, it was okay. I like all the Legend of Sleepy Hollow stuff quite a bit. The Headless Horseman mythology is really fun, and the love triangle sort of thing is realistic and grounded enough that it doesn't feel like just a huge cliche. So I'm kind of into it, and music overall is very good. So thumbs up from me.
Thank you. Oh,
Check
thank you very
Check
much.
out the
Appreciated.
album. Cheese rating. Oh boy, I looked up Tarrytown cheese because I'm lazy. And there's a place called Second Mouse Cheese Shop, which just sounds great. So I'm gonna give it Second Mouse Cheese.
Okay.
All right, Adam. I wonder if this is cheating, but what is your overall thoughts on Tarrytown?
My overall thoughts on Tarrytown is
It's a work in
I
progress.
don't know. I think it's good. I don't. It's you know.
Jess, this is
I
like an
think it's
unfair
good.
question to ask somebody. Honestly,
I know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing, and I ask all the uncomfortable questions here.
you can't ask an artist what
I'm
they
very
think
proud
of
of
their
it.
art.
It's been now that it's been through so many drafts. When it first started, it was not great, but the most recent draft. Do you hear that sound? Someone is like shooting someone outside my house. Well, it might be fireworks. I don't know.
It's Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh. It could be
Your guess.
anyone's guess.
God.
I'm very proud of Tarrytown. It's come a long way. I think it is. If nothing else, I think it's well crafted and unexpected and tuneful and all the other adjectives I use on my website to describe it. I would love to see another production of it because I do think that the audiences really enjoy it, and obviously so do the fans. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's good.
And your cheese
that bad?
rating.
And I rate it something that I've just Googled, which is called apple cheese.
That sounds disgusting.
Yes, it does. It is apparently, but you know, there's a lot of apple picking references in Tarrytown. And so there's something called apple cheese. And what Atlas Obscura says, at first glance, apple cheese looks a bit like charcuterie, but it's not meat or even cheese at all. To make
What the
it,
fuck is it?
it's apple cheese. To make it, cooks combine sliced raw apples with sugar to draw out the juice. Then they reduce the liquid and stew it with cinnamon and apple chunks.
What?
What?
So I guess it's just like stewed cinnamon and apples, which
Where
actually
did
sounds
the
delicious.
cheese come from then? I don't understand.
I don't know, but there's literally videos that say like how to make apple cheese.
All right, we're gonna make some apple cheese for the next episode.
No,
Apple
we're
cheese
going to go
sounds
to
great.
Pittsburgh. We're going to go make some apple cheese with Adam.
I could make apple cheese. I have these ingredients. It's just apples and cinnamon and sugar. I've got all those things in my house right now. I could make some apple cheese tonight and have a whole themed evening.
Wow.
Listen to some Tarrytown. All proceeds of which, by the way, remind you, go to the Actors Fund. So go give it a listen, everybody.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Once again, Tarrytown is great. The album is one of my favorites. It's honestly one of my top things on my Apple Music now, especially now that it's on
that's
Apple
so
Music
sweet.
and I don't have to pull up fucking SoundCloud every time I want to hear another Halloween.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, I don't have much complaints about it. I'm still kind of reeling from the new revelations from reading the script and watching a read through that Adam provided. So all these new painting of the context is a bit jarring for me, to be honest. Not that it's bad, it's just different. and it portrays Katrina specifically very differently for me, and the entire Brahm Ichabod relationship a lot more sinister. Nevertheless, I am giving this specifically. Did you guys know that in Las Vegas, Nevada, there is a Sleepy Hollow themed restaurant called Ichabod's? And
no.
Yes.
This is
and there
ridiculous.
they
This
do
is
sell
absurd.
mac and cheese bites. So
Why
it
are we
is
doing this?
specifically mac and cheese bites from Ichabod's restaurant.
Wow. Are they open these days? I think Vegas is open, isn't they?
They're a 24-hour family-friendly, smoke-free restaurant from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Full menu and lounge open 24 hours a day.
Who brings
Wait
their
a minute.
family to Las Vegas?
They're open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., but
I
they're
just read
24
you exactly
hours?
what it said. It's crazy.
Or are they only smoke-free from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.? Is that what it's...
24-hour family-friendly, smoke-free restaurant from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Full menu and lounge open. It's one run-on sentence.
Okay, the full menu is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh,
But they're open
I thought it was
24/7.
only smoke-free.
I wish I
7
could
a.m.
show
to
you
10
the way this
p.m.
is like specifically worded. It is a
Oh,
mess.
it's crazy.
But do you guys know what isn't a mess?
Our patrons.
Not
Our
America
wonderful
right now?
patrons! Thank you guys for listening. You can find us on
damn
iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, at Musicals with Cheese. Our Twitter is Cheesy Musicals. Our Patreon is Musicals with Cheese. Our Instagram is Musicals with Cheese. Our YouTube page is Musicals with Cheese. We have a patron-only podcast, Glee with Cheese. Pay $5 whatever, and you can come join us with that podcast. We're going to talk some shit about Leah Michelle. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our title card was created by Jolene Casco. Go send her some love on Instagram at Jolene Casco. Adam, I know you've got a lot of things you want to promote, so promote them out there for the world.
I don't have that many things. I've got 2 things, Tarrytown and Encore. That's about it right now.
Well, promote Tarrytown. What is this thing that you need to promote?
Yeah, we just talked about it for 3 hours.
I've never heard of this Tarrytown thing. Tell us
Go
more.
listen to it. It's streaming everywhere. You can buy it on iTunes. All profits are going to the Actors Fund for COVID relief. Please enjoy. Let me know if you have questions about the plot. And
Just ask
watch
me.
Encore on Disney
I have a perfect
Plus.
understanding of the plot. You can ask me.
No, yeah, Andrew's got it.
Tweet him at Hey Ductor, because you know him. He tweets all the time.
I am a constant just chatterbox. I never stop.
What do you do all day long, Andrew, and wherever you live upstate New York?
I work at a bank.
How on earth did you get roped into this?
I don't know.
He's known me for way too long. That's how he's gotten
I
roped into this.
Andrew, I would love to know, like, now that so many episodes have gone by, what is your opinion, like, of musical theater as a...
It's just awful.
As an art form.
It really just needs to stop.
No.
In a couple weeks, we're going to hit episode 100, fun fact. We are very
Wow.
close. And it's coinciding with Hamilton dropping on Disney Plus, so it's advantageous.
Oh, great. While you're there, tune into Encore.
Andrew won't. He actively
Oh.
won't.
Hey, Andrew, I think you would like it.
I might. I don't know. I don't watch TV shows very much though. I don't like serialized things.
These are standalone episodes. You don't need to watch them in any order.
Ooh.
They are just on. There's a little 1 hour. Just watch,
I highly disagree.
One at a
They
time.
are very serialized into how fluffy Adam's hair gets.
Does it get fluffy?
Yeah, it gets fluffier, and they were
someone
released
edit
in a
together a
different order
picture.
than they were shot because it grows, then shrinks, then grows again.
No,
we
I just got
edit together
haircuts.
and
I got haircuts. You know how people used to get haircuts? I got some during
I've
the
never
shooting
heard of a haircut
Encore.
before.
Look at Andrew. Has he ever heard of a haircut?
No, I guess not. Look at all of us, though. Look how long this is, like Encore pilot length, Into the Woods time.
Oh my god. All right, we got to wrap this up. We're an hour and 20 in. Thank you guys for
Wow.
listening. Please
Episode
send
Thank you for
Adam
having
some
me, and
love.
thank you for loving Tarrytown, everyone.
It is wonderful. Please, after this episode, go send your fan art, your dick pics, and everything to Adam at Zebra Adam on Twitter. Just give him all of it. Yeah.
Draw your fan art on your dick and then take a picture and send it to me.
Get a tattoo of Tarrytown on your dick and then send it to Adam.
Oh my god.
These
I don't-
heterosexual men will never stop drawing dicks on everything.
Exactly. It all comes together.
It all comes together, just like you do when you watch football. See you guys next time on Musicals with Cheese.
Go rope one out to Tarrytown.
Oh,
Rope
yeah.
one out to Tarrytown, kids. Pretend you're watching football.